And both of you remember to go on your honeymoon. Just remember what that honeymoon represents, okay? Remember to anoint one another. Remember, before you come together in the flesh, make sure you anoint each other's lips and other parts. And just, you know what to do. But you always have to remember.
So what do you guys think about that? That's what Almighty One does. That's from their own doctrine. Okay? Take what you just saw, compare it to this. This is only part of it. It's a very detailed ritual. If a cauldron is in the center, it will be moved to the south of the circle, unless the ritual indicates some other position. The coven, except for the high priestess and priest, arrange themselves around the perimeter of the circle, man and woman, alternating. As far as possible, facing the center of the circle, which means inward. The high priestess and high priest stand facing each other in the center of the circle. She has her back to the altar. He has his back to the south. And they're facing each other. The high priest gives the high priestess a fivefold kiss, which I'm not going to describe. The high priestess lays herself down on the ground, facing upwards with her hips in the center of the circle. Her head is towards the altar, her arms and legs are outstretched to form a pentagram. The high priestess fetches the veils and spreads it over the high priestess's body, covering her from the breast to the knees. Then he faces her with his knees between her legs, and goes on. This is where I'm not going to read anymore. It's like invading somebody's privacy to me. And this is their private ritual. I mean, you can buy it, you can read it, and please do. But I'm not going to disgrace or dishonor or make any attempts that might seem to disgrace or dishonor the group I work with. That would be rude to me. That's something I'm not going to do. Now, we take this, and we take this wild tie-in that TJ supposedly created that brings in Wiccan magic and some type of Indian thing. I can't remember what it's called now, I really don't care. And then Almighty Wind's teaching, take all three and slam it together and say it's called sex magic. Compared to what Elisabeth said versus what I just read, does it sound the same? Remotely. It's not even remotely the same. I've read the entire ritual. There's not one thing in that ritual that parallels what Elisabeth said. Anybody says otherwise obviously doesn't know a thing about witchcraft or Wicca. This is Wiccan rite. Witches would also follow the same basic rite. So, anybody disagrees, don't know a thing about it. Now, we have a complete wild tie-in. It has nothing to do with the pagan rite known as the Great Rite. But let's look at what Elisabeth was trying to accomplish in her teaching. As disturbed as I was and sleepless nights evolved, but she was teaching something quite loosely beneficial for marriage. From a psychological viewpoint, the following was cured. Relationship satisfaction. So we have problems with that within relationships where after the first few marriages, the marriage sort of declines, you know. It helps with that. It helps with the relationship duration, and also provides attachment, the need for physical and emotional closeness. Essentially, that's what Almighty Wins doctrine really, for that, is. It's just ways to accentuate the need for the other person. And it makes the other person feel good, and that person feels good, and make the other person feel good, and it keeps the marriage good and solid. So it keeps the whole marriage on solid rock and solid ground, you know? So, as disturbing as it was to hear, I mean, I consider, you know, whatever a couple do behind closed doors, their business. It's beneficial to keep their marriage alive, functional, and working, instead of something dead. So, her teaching on that, as bizarre as it might seem, does provide a mechanism for these 3 points to occur.